What if I told you that you could move abroad from India to Thailand legally for 5 years and perhaps you already qualify? And it's a great opportunity if you've been planning to live abroad but you've only been considering the conventional options like Australia, US, Canada or Europe, etc. And they seem very intimidating. They need you to have a student or all of that student pathway or the job pathway or a lot of money as well, and you want something affordable, something simple, then this pathway could be for you. And if you don't want the whole job pathway or the permanent residency drama and all of that huge paperwork, this visa is ideal for you, just like it was for me. And I just got this visa myself, so in this video I'm going to share everything about how I got this visa, if this visa is good for you or not, what are the limitations and how exactly to get it, whether you qualify for it or not. So stick around to the end of this video because I'll share everything, even about a little bit about the life in Thailand that I'm living here. Now, why am I so happy about it? Let me explain that too. I got it for 5 whole years and that is a pretty long time. So if I want to go and come back or I want to live somewhere else, I know that I can set Thailand as one of my bases and I can live here for at least the next 5 years. The second reason is, which has been super painful, is the visa run. So I was here just before getting my Thailand Digital Nomad Visa as well, but as soon as you reach the end of your 60 days, you cannot stay here. Otherwise, it is considered illegal. And even when you come back, let's say after a visa run, authorities can be pretty harsh on you. They'll keep questioning you, why are you coming again and again? Do you work here? Do you earn here? And all of that. So of course I had like online presence and everything, so I could prove that, hey, I'm not working here. But for anybody else, it can get really stressful to answer those questions. So my recommendation is get a visa that allows you to not be in that gray zone, but gives you lots of clarity and power as well. And another reason, the third reason, is I can continue working for my clients from anywhere. So from Thailand as well. The only restriction is I cannot work for Thai clients, which as of now I don't have. The fourth one, which is also a pain because I've had other digital nomad visas and I know how tax is a huge problem. So because India and Thailand have a treaty, which means if I pay my taxes in India, I don't have to pay them in Thailand. And anyway, I don't need to because I don't have any Thai clients. So I think the tax situation is also pretty sorted for me. The fifth reason why I'm so happy is that there is no restriction of a minimum number of days of stay that you have to complete in Thailand to retain this visa, which is the case with a lot of other visas. So here, even if I have the visa, but I don't live here, let's say for 2 years in between, even if I enter here on the third year, I'm completely free to enter here and I will be treated as just like anybody else. So that is the best part. And finally, the last part that I love is that I can also bring my dependents here on this visa itself. They can apply separately, but they need to show my Thai DTV so that they can get theirs as well. So I think I'm getting the best of everything with this visa, and that's why I'm so happy that I got it. So I got my visa, the entire experience and the entire journey of thinking about it and getting it. There was so much information online, people sharing different experiences about their journey of getting this visa, but I'll tell you what happened in my case. So I had visited Thailand last year just to explore, and I ended up extending my visa because last year you used to get only 30 days of visa-free stay. So I paid like 4,500 rupees extra to stay here for 1 more month, and I was in Chiang Mai and Bangkok, and I definitely, of course, I fell in love with Thailand. So by the time I was leaving, I got to know from other people that they were applying for the digital nomad visa or the Thai DTV, technically speaking. So I tried to understand what the process is, and it was pretty new back then. So back then I did not think of applying for it because I wasn't sure if I would be eligible and how much bureaucracy or how much paperwork it would involve. So eventually when I understood, I joined the communities. In a lot of the cases, people were being called to the embassy to apply. But the important thing to note here is that you cannot apply for this visa while you are in Thailand itself, and even the authorities can track your location through VPN and all of that. So make sure that you do not apply from Thailand. So you have to select the embassy from which you will be applying this. You can apply from anywhere outside of Thailand. So you can apply, let's say, from Malaysia, from Vietnam. I did from my own home country, which was India. So I did it from there. And then on the online portal of my country's consulate, Thai consulate, I was able to select the visa type and which consulate I'm going to apply to. So you could select like Mumbai or New Delhi, whichever consulates exist in your home country. And I picked the New Delhi one in mind. Now, because I'd heard from a lot of people that you are called to the embassy, I thought maybe I'll have to go to Delhi as well. But what happened with me was, it was a very simple form, all online, and I had to submit some details about myself, what I work and how I earn and how much money I have in my bank account, because there is a minimum eligibility criteria for liquid savings with you as well. I'm not sure if you can apply with FDs or not, but I recommend having liquid funds, at least a bit more than what they are required to show. So that is around 500,000 Thai baht in your bank account. I am not fully sure if FD or mutual funds qualify for it, but I I specifically put it into my savings, and then of course I switched it back into my mutual funds to show it, and then I was able to take a bank statement showing my past 6 months of bank transactions as well. Now this was under the category of remote worker, which meant that I also needed to show what kind of work I do under remote work, how I earn, what kind of clients I have, what kind of contracts I have, etc. as well. So what I did was I tried to collate all possible ways to explain my work, because my work is a bit unconventional. I do freelancing, I do content creation, I earn from multiple sources. So what I tried to do was I tried to put my LinkedIn screenshot, my Instagram screenshot, and explained on the side everything, how I work and where I earn from, and even some sample contracts that I had with my client, and put it into one single PDF. So one first page gave the whole overview, and the rest of the pages explained every income stream that I had and the kind of work that I did. And finally, the third requirement was to show the current location. So now there is no way to show it, because you could fake it like if you want to, but what I did was in the iPhone where the photograph is clicked, so I took a picture of my driving license, the Indian driving license. I took a picture of that, and then I also took a picture of where that photo was taken. So two photographs put into one PDF, and then I uploaded that as the proof of my location. And finally, once all of these details were submitted along with my passport photographs, like front and back page, my passport size picture as well, all of that was submitted, the next step was to pay the fee. Now I was very hesitant doing that because it's a lot of money, like it's 25,000 rupees that I had to pay for this. So what I did was I wrote to the embassy. I told them, hey, I've submitted this certain application and this is my application number. So what are the next steps? Do I need to visit New Delhi embassy and then fill out like any other additional forms and then pay the fee there, or how does it happen now? So they replied, thankfully, very instantly. Within 1 or 2 days they replied, and they let me know that you don't have to come here, you can just pay the fee online itself, and all of the details are given for the payment. They are all given online, and I paid using UPI, which was super simple and straightforward. And now that all of that happened, it was the moment of truth. I was constantly, like every day, trying to refresh my application, and I was trying to check my emails if there is any reply. I had to send the proof of payment to the embassy to make sure that they know that I have done the payment. And once all of that was sorted, within like 8 working days, I got a reply that my visa was approved. So yes, I did get the Digital Nomad Visa, or the Thai DTV. With everything good, there can be another side to it as well. So let me explain to you what are the limitations with this visa. One very important limitation is that you cannot open a Thai bank account, and it is pretty strict. So there are no workarounds for this. You just cannot open a Thai bank account, which can make payments and day-to-day activities very, very difficult. But I am trying to find more solutions. I'm trying to have like the best and most number of forex cards as well that I can use here. The second limitation, not really a limitation but a disclaimer, is that every 6 months you need to report your residential address and your proof of living here to the immigration authorities. So every 6 months, the first time I have to go there to the office in person, but after that I can do it online as well. So yeah, this is a disclaimer that you need to take care of this certain paperwork or this certain formality that you have to follow once you have taken this visa. And the third limitation is you cannot work with a Thai company, neither as a client, like they cannot be a client, or they cannot be your employer as well. And that is pretty obvious, because otherwise you'll have to either shift to business visa or employment visa, and that's why you just can live here, but you cannot earn money from any Thai entity. And for me personally, these are not deal breakers at all. I'm completely fine with it. The only thing, of course, is that I need to sort out how I make payments here. That is still a problem. If you have any tips, you can drop those in the comments. But yes, overall, I think it is like a win-win situation for me either ways. Now, if you have got this visa, you don't have just Bangkok to make your base. There are so many more options as well. Let me share some few cities with you, which I highly recommend you to consider to make your home. So the first is, of course, Bangkok, where I live, because I wanted big city vibes, and I have that here. The second is Chiang Mai. I've already lived there, and you can stay there if you want a laid back and a nature friendly city to live in. It's not like very backward, so it has that convenience, but it also is very popular with digital nomads. So you have a great community there. Then the third one is Phuket. So you get beaches, luxury living, and popular with creatives and more remote entrepreneurs. And then if you want to live the island life, then you can go for Koh Phangan or Koh Samui. And these are the islands also with wellness communities, retreats, and very calm vibes. And in most of these cities, the rent is pretty affordable and the lifestyle is like really, really like the standards are so high. So I love that. Safety is of course not an issue at all. These are the factors which make me so happy to be living in Thailand. So now the big question is, should you do it or not? So if you've been thinking of moving abroad and you did not have like the resources like, a lot of wealth or, the student pathway or the job pathway, I think you should surely consider this. If it has been on your mind to move abroad, I think you should surely try this out. It's not very expensive and it gives you a lot of flexibility as well. And also if you're open to, exploring the Thai community and the Thai culture, I think you should definitely try this out. But if you feel like living in your own community and you want just Indian food or just, you get homesick, maybe this lifestyle could not be for you. But personally for me, this visa has been a big deal and you can see that in this video, the whole excitement that I've shown here. And I've also shared a lot about my Thailand lifestyle, the condo that I live in, the expenses, all of that also in my channel. So definitely explore that as well, and lots of more videos to come. So if you have any questions about this visa specifically, or living in Thailand, or life as a remote worker, freelancer or digital nomad, you can drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer those.